Hello, welcome back to another episode of Anchor TV Interviews. Tim Yean, sports manager for Anchor TV, as well as the sports editor for the Anchor newspaper, as I've mentioned in a previous episode with one Ray Bakari. Today I have the great opportunity to talk to the current editor-in-chief of the Anchor newspaper, also known as one of my bosses, Oli Barone. Oli, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm really excited. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I know you're the outgoing editor-in-chief, so I was like, why not have you on to the studio today? First time in the studio, actually, for your college career. So, how you? I mean, coming in here, how you like it?
It's awesome. It's so cool. I didn't realize. I was just telling you. Didn't realize it's as official as it is.
Yeah, we try our best to get it official, but it's me, two-man crew back there, Aiden Thompson, Tim Yean, always doing a wonderful job. Maybe some other folks in there helping out. Let's just get started off straight with the interview. Can you just explain your role as the editor-in-chief of the student newspaper and how it's been being the EIC for these last 2 years?
Sure. As editor-in-chief, I am kind of in charge of the student newspaper as both a club and as a newspaper. I look over all of the articles for all 4 sections every week. I also do a lot of the hiring, recruiting, and communication part of the club. I'm usually the one who, if campus is getting emails from, it's probably me. I am in a lot of communication with other departments and clubs on campus. And it's kind of my role to oversee everything that I can. And then we have, the rest of our e-board who kind of takes on their own individual roles after that.
Is being EIC mostly takes up the most out of your week? Obviously there's class and everything, but I'm going to get into a couple more questions later on about what you do outside. Is that what takes up the most of your time?
Probably. I mean, it's a good tie between that and being a student. I also work 2 other jobs and I'm a part of other clubs. But editor-in-chief, it's a big job and it definitely takes up a lot of my time. It's maybe not always a designated chunk of time, but throughout the week I'm always on call for editor-in-chief. It really never stops.
Right. I mean, I know I'm not making your job any easier. I send 3,000 articles a week. So.
But you're doing great.
I appreciate that. Going back to your freshman year of college, what sparked your initial interest and eventual entry into the Anchor, and how was that, sort of learning the ropes and eventually climbing up to becoming the editor-in-chief?
Wow. So I didn't really realize I wanted to do journalism until my senior project in high school, where I worked with a Rhode Island writer who helped me perform and conduct my first interview with a band friend she had. And then just that summer, I saw an ad. It's not very exciting. I saw an ad that the Anchor newspaper was hiring staff writers, and I had a phone call with actually Raymond Bakari. He did my interview, and I started as soon as I got on campus. My first semester, I was in RIC 100, so I couldn't attend meetings. Then once I got into my second semester, I actually really started getting involved rather than just submitting an article once a week to people I didn't know. And it's been really fun ever since. I kind of worked up the ranks. I was a arts and entertainment section editor after I was a staff writer. Then I was managing editor for a little while, and then I was elected as EIC. And it's been really great.
All right, so a long path, but in 4 years, a lot. Outside of the Anchor, what's been some other opportunities that you've received? Maybe not just with the college, but also with some outside organizations, and how have those opportunities affected your writing style and maybe sort of outlook and how you say things?
I just updated my LinkedIn yesterday, so this is really convenient.
You just sent me a connection request yesterday.
I did, because I haven't dusted off my LinkedIn in 2 years. But I have actually, because of Rick and because of the Anchor and because of my own personal ambitions, I've been able to do a lot. I was the editorial intern of Rhode Island Monthly Magazine in 2023, and I've done contributing articles to both the Smithfield Times and Motif Magazine. And I was also, another really cool thing, I was able to attend a national writing conference in both 2023 and 2024, sponsored by Rick, which was so awesome. And I am a creative writing student, so the conference was creative writing focused, and then of course all those other positions are more journalism centered. And I really have enjoyed getting that broad perspective of different kinds of writing because I really think they feed off of each other and benefit each other. When I'm doing creative writing, I'm taking those journalism skills and including important information and being more detail oriented. And then when I'm in journalism, I'm using my creative writing skills to include interesting language and write in a more narrative sense, which I think can be really important in journalism. And I'm just so, honestly, the Anchor has attributed to a lot of those experiences that I've had. It looks great on a resume. So I really cannot be more thankful for my experience at the Anchor and at Rick, because it has really, really benefited those experiences that I've had, and then in turn my writing style and my writing experience. Because that's what I want to do.
All right, so I mean, you mentioned creative writing, right? Is there a certain, maybe sort of like maybe creative piece, or maybe even actually like one of the stories you've done for the Anchor that sort of like stands out to you, that this is sort of like some of my best work that I'd like to show off here? Like, is there anything like that?
One of the articles that I really push out is the interview article that I did with Gustavo Rock for Big Time Rush 2 years ago. He came to Rick as part of a Welcome Week kind of situation, and I love doing interviews, and I really like implementing those creative writing narrative skills that I have from interviews. And I think that came out to be a good one, not only because he's probably the biggest person that I've been able to interview so far, but also because I worked really hard on it, and it came out really well, and I think a lot of people really enjoyed reading it and hearing what he had to say.
Right. What's the best part about doing an interview, in your opinion?
Oh, I love hearing what other people want to tell me and being able to, because writing is a skill that, some people work on and have, and I like to have that ability to share other people's words and experiences in a form of writing when they might not have the ability to, or the skill to, or whatever it might be. And I find that really enjoyable, and a lot of times when you send someone the article that you interviewed them in, they get really excited, and I think that's so awesome.
It's probably the best thing, and I have to agree with you. Just sending them that article, and then I love it. I did the same thing with Tony Renaud a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
He loved it, so it was awesome to see such a reaction from him. Outside, you've also played a huge role for student community government in terms of spotlighting all the presidential and vice presidential candidates for this year's e-board election, as well as participating in the government yourself as a representative, if I'm correct. What's it been like being a part of student government from a journalistic perspective, and how was it being able to talk to some of those future student leaders here at Rick?
It's been so cool, and that's another, like we were just talking about the benefit of interviewing people and why I enjoy it, and this is really reinstated why I enjoy it so much, because all of the student candidates for next year's SEG board are so enthusiastic and so thankful. They're so appreciative of the opportunity to be interviewed and to get their thoughts out there, because they care so much about the student body. In terms of being a part of SEG, I really enjoyed it. There is a really interesting line that has to be drawn between reporter and representative. Right. When I walk into that room, I'm not a reporter. I'm an SCG representative, and that's a really unique position that is provided with being on a college campus and being an active student when you're a part of so many different things. And then when I am interviewing those SCG candidates, I'm not a representative, I'm a reporter. And that is definitely a skill I've had to learn. And I think our professional advisor, Steph Machado, has really kind of helped with that, knowing when to put on that reporter hat and knowing when to take it off.
Does, being a representative, help foster the relationships between you and, some of the people that you're interviewing, or maybe have some key insights on? I know, obviously the current e-board with President Dante De Gregorio, sneak peek interview. Vice Tess, which you're also part of Wixon, all that other people. Does being part of that help, sort of further build those relationships, not just in sort of the journalistic sort of thing or parliamentary sort of thing, but also maybe just outside of all of that as like friends?
Absolutely. Tess and Dante are actually two of my closest friends. I love them so much. They're doing such a fantastic job, and all the things that they do, and particularly in SCG. I just love them so much. They do so well. But yeah, absolutely. It's definitely furthered those relationships. And I think particularly as being a member of the student newspaper, it is really important to be involved in the wider student body. Right. And being a part of Parliament really gives you that opportunity, because then you are seeing and hearing what students want, what they're looking for, what discussions are being had about improving campus, and what kind of critiques are happening. And it's really essential to... Because as a reporter and as a part of the student newspaper, our goal is to also be a representative.
Right.
So yeah, it's really important.
with your tenure now as editor-in-chief coming to a close here, what's been some of the changes that you've made as a head role that you feel most proud of or is of note?
I think I really work towards, and they kind of go hand in hand, making the Anchor more of a community-oriented space and also more of a creative space. I think, and I hope more members of the Anchor are more comfortable to speak their mind and to share their ideas and actually be more hands-on. I've really tried to make it a fun environment and not just, okay, let's get in here and work. Right. Two things can be true, of course. People should be working and also having fun and enjoying it. I don't want it to be like an anxiety-inducing space because I know sometimes journalism can be. And in terms of creativity, specifically with layout, I think since I've started, we've really seen more kind of creative prints, and that's also largely in part due to Elias, the layout editor. He's done a great job. And I think our members are now more willing to get their hands dirty and play a part in that layout part, because I think before it was way more separated between people working on the online part and people working on print. But print is a really essential part of the newspaper, and even if as we modernize media, even if we're kind of moving away from that part, it's still a good experience for a student to be a part of a publication project like that. And I really think we've put so much more love into prints every month, and I'm really excited about that.
Right, I have to agree with you. Elias has done a fantastic job, especially, with his last edition, kind of like the Canker.
It was great.
Yeah, the Canker. If you have time to pick up a copy, please pick one up. Don, Gage, anywhere else, I put papers there. I mean, I handled a lot of distribution Friday, so that's the most I can remember. I have a pretty short memory span. Kelcy Conroy will now be the new editor-in-chief right after you walk the stage at the AMP. How long have you known Kelcy for, and what are some of the key skills and traits that they have that make you have confidence that they'll be, that great leader for the Anchor?
So I kind of knew Kelcy in high school, fun fact. We didn't go to the same high school, but we were both involved in unified sports, which is like helping students with special needs play basketball or volleyball or whatever it might be. And we were both a part of that. So I knew Kelcy in passing, and then when I was a sophomore, she also joined the Anchor as a freshman, because they're a grade younger than I am. And Kelcy is such a kind and compassionate human being. I know that anybody next year who needs something will be able to go to them and say, hey, Kelcy, I want to make this change, I want to see this happen, and I know Kelcy will sit down with you and really listen and take it into account and try to make that happen. They do such a great job, and they're so wonderful.
Yeah, Kelcy, I mean, I've talked to them, so passionate about the Anchor.
Yes. Helped
them out with orientation a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
Such a massive amount of respect, such a massive amount of effort to them for, making it all happen.
Yeah.
Second to last question. With Kelcy becoming new editor-in-chief for the next academic year, what's some messages or guiding words you have for them and the entire eBoard in general as they head into next fall? And you're kind of talking to the next managing editor right here. So
I am. I would say lean on each other. Don't be afraid to be in constant communication, and don't be afraid to ask each other for help and for advice. That core four in the Anchor, those 4 eBoard positions, you guys are making a lot of stuff happen, and it's a lot of work. I know myself, and I'm sure the rest of the eBoard can and have experienced some moments of burnout, because it's a lot, especially when you're a student and you're working and you're in other clubs. So don't be afraid to communicate with each other and say, I'm having a hard time with this. Can I get a little extra help this week? Make sure that you are really taking advantage of the fact that you are a team. And I think that is the kind of biggest way to be successful.
Right. And just for the viewers at home, new eBoard for the Anchor next semester. Editor-in-Chief Kelcy Conroy, Managing Editor Tim Yean, a.k.a. me. What's Alana's role? I'm sorry, art manager. I'm so sorry, Alana. Art manager Alana Carroll, and treasurer / business manager Jake LaBantia. That will be the new eBoard. Some early recruits, if you're interested, contact my current email. That's sports@anchor.org, or Kelcy or Jake or Alana. They're all very wonderful, very helpful people. Finally, last question, a fun one to end off. If there was one book that either I or everyone on campus should read immediately, like right after this recording, I should go pick it up at the library, what should it be?
Oh, that is such a good question. I had a really hard time with this one. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. My favorite book of all time is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I recommend it to everybody. It's a little insane, and it's a little outdated, but it's very good. Alternatively, Martyr by Kaveh Akbar is like my more relevant contemporary suggestion, but they're both fantastic.
All right. That is all we have for today. Ollie, thank you so much for the book suggestion. What a great episode, as always, this time with Oli Barone, my boss, a.k.a. the editor-in-chief of the Anchor newspaper, doing lots of stuff on campus, in the library, in Wix, and so many other places. So once again, I just want to say thank you so much. For Anchor TV Interviews, this has been Tim Yean with Oli Barone. I hope to see you in the next episode, and hope you have a good rest of your day. Take care.